Spot is presented by Botano. The game starts now. Here are your hosts, Brent Wallace, Jason York, and Bobby Ryan.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Coming in Hot. Brent Wallace alongside the happiest man in hockey, Jason York, and Bobby Ryan. Guys, I'm not very happy, so I don't know how you want to get into this. Oh, wait. It's puppy time.
It's a therapy dog, Wally. It's a therapy dog.
Well played.
Can you just take it to the Ottawa Senators and drop them off for the day?
God. She's making me calm. Sorry, Charlie. Pat the dog, stroke the dog.
Now you made me a little happier, and I'm upset about that.
Right? Dogs make you happy, right? Everybody in Ottawa get a dog right now and just pat the dog. Things will be okay.
The shelters will be packed with people lining up for 15 minutes.
Everybody just go to Yorkie's house. Play with Charlie.
Oh, boy. Oh,
I don't know how you want to get into it either, but my goodness.
Hey, it was trivia night last night. I had a few laughs with my buddies and our girls. I came home and watched that mess. And when you watch a game and you get to stop it and look back because I taped it, oh boy. I don't know where you want to start. I don't know where you want to start, Wally. You steer the ship here. You steer the ship.
The very first shift.
Yes. So there have been losses this season, and in years past, you're like, okay, like the Islander game, it was just a loss. This is different. This was embarrassing to me. I took this one personally last night because they told us November was a key month, and they're not going to have any more slow starts, and they're going to come out and play every night. They lost this game in the first 90 seconds. The first shift was a scoring chance. Then they take the penalty. Then they give up the power play goal. Game over. There was no fight whatsoever. And then DJ's like, I know we didn't come out ready to play. Well, we weren't ready to play in that start, and that's on me. We weren't ready to play at the start, and that's on me. That's, they come out, they outshoot us 9-1. The first shift, they're competitive players. We turned it over, and it didn't look like we wanted to stick our nose in there. How does this happen, Bobby Ryan?
Oh, it's on. Okay, I got to start. Perfect.
Go, Bob.
That first shift for JBD was a tragedy. And him in particular was, and then he took a penalty. How many nights can you say Zub was horrendous? But he was horrendous last night. And things happen. I understand everybody's going to drop a dud, but he's got to be a guy that just stabilizes things back there right now. They had nothing. And the amount of talk that the Florida Panthers did, by the way, lock of the day was me. Thank you very much. The Florida Panthers came out and played a perfect road game for one. They got pucks deep. They pinched. They held pucks in. And I don't know if it was more how well they played or how bad the Sens played, or if it was just a perfect storm of both. But the first 7 minutes of that game were, you need to call a timeout. You need to address something before you get into that game and lose 5-0, because the only person that stood a chance last night was Korpisalo. I mean, that game could have been 10-0. How about the save in the first on Verhaeghe with the backdoor pass where somebody's sleeping on the back door? There were just so many. It was the first, and I wanted to turn it off so bad, but I was like, this game's going to get ugly because we still have Brady in the fray. So I knew something was coming, and I stuck it out. But man, there was just nothing. The power play was horrendous. The penalty kill was horrendous. It was just bad. DJ looked like the guy on the bench that knew something was coming. He does. Yeah. He knew the faces. I've never seen him look like that. That dejected.
So my wife, who covers the team, was at the game last night. She writes for Canadian Press. She came home to me last night and goes, "He looked like dead man walking." She said you could feel it. And I'm wondering, I guess we'll get into it now. We've said all along, we don't think there's a coaching change because there's no GM at the moment, unless they were to go into a tailspin. But that game to me was the complete, utter shutdown of everything. There was nothing there. So are we seeing perhaps the end of DJ Smith?
Well, I'll tell you something. A lot of games you can pinpoint things and say, okay, there was a defensive zone breakdown there. This happened here. And you could pinpoint some issues, and you could say, well, there's people love the word structure and all that, and say that's why Ottawa lost. Key mistakes here, key mistakes there. I'll say last night watching that game, they didn't lose that game because of coaching. And people might be saying, well, what? But here's the thing. I've come to the point now where you see a game like that, something has to be done. Because to me, that was a group of players that let their coach down. And you can't paint it any other way. Like, you lost that game last night because my good buddy Colby Armstrong was on the panel last night, and he just told it like it is. Florida stole Ottawa's lunch money, put their head in the toilet, gave him a swirly, whatever you want to call it, atomic wedgie. But it was just, to me, it was men versus boys, and it came down to little 10-foot battles all over the ice. Florida, Ottawa won a few here and there, but the majority, 80% of those battles were won by Florida last night. If you talk to anybody in the game, any player, you talk to Bob, you talk to a coach, how do you win? You got to win battles. And last night, they just, like I said it before the game, I said they have to start playing better. And to me, you're showing ownership with that. I'm not going to say effort, I'm going to say performance that you need to shake up. Like, something has to happen to shake this group up, because you look at, why is Florida where they are right now? I was kind of thinking about this because I slept on this last night. Why are they where they're at right now? People forget last year. You remember when Keith Tkachuk came in and just ripped that team? He said, this team is terrible. They don't play, whatever he said. They've gone through adversity. If you look at that roster, you look at a guy like Sam Bennett, for example. Sam Bennett was one of the best players in the playoffs last year. Sam Bennett was a former high pick, right, Bob?
4th overall, I think, right?
4th overall pick. It didn't go well for him in Calgary. He could never get to the first line. He was battling, fighting to prove himself his entire career. He's had to fight, scratch, and claw for everything he's been given in his career. And that's a 4th overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
How many of Ottawa's young core can you say that about? That have had to fight and scratch, because all these guys have been given ice time. Did Sam Bennett get given ice time early in his career in Calgary, guys? Fuck, not a chance. And to me, that's the problem with this team. You have a lot of guys that haven't earned what they've gotten, and you can't paint it any other way. You can't. Man. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. And that's why you see nights like that. And people can call it coaching. Yeah, there's been some technical things, but for me, this is a group right now where you have a lot of guys, and you saw like Barkov and Bennett down the middle as your 1-2. It's not a fair fight against Ottawa. And I love Tim Stützle, but he's 21 years old going against Alexander Barkov. You're not going to win that battle. I'm sorry.
See,
so I just think, number one, I've overestimated what this team is. And I thought about it a lot last night. I just think a lot of guys need to look in the mirror and realize what they've been given. Like, look at Josh Norris, for example. He's great offensively, does a lot of great things, but he's got to get way better in his own zone. He's not a 200-foot player right now. So if I was the coach and if I was doing, like, there would be some, who knows, probably too late, because you could see DJ's face, but it's just a lot of guys last night need to take a long look in the mirror.
They don't know how to win. And I say that with all due respect. Like, outside of Claude Giroux, there's not much there to show them and to tell them how to. Like, Florida Panthers went to the Stanley Cup final. They know the grind that it takes to get there. So I'm okay with Ottawa not winning the game. I'm not okay with them just rolling over and then pretending in the third period that they're going to get little physical and run around and make stupid decisions and say that they were physical and they showed them they weren't going to get pushed around. Absolute nonsense. The whole Zach McEwen thing of running after Matthew Tkachuk and taking a 5-minute major was just stupid. But then again, they go and get a 4-on-3 power play in the middle of it, and they still can't do anything with it. It was an embarrassing performance by a team that said that they needed to win and show up, and they didn't want to come out and play. I don't know if that's on DJ Smith, who's supposed to get them fired up with a rah-rah. We've never seen DJ in any video go, hey, guys, got to win this for the Gipper today. The guys are supposed to get ready to play, and they just weren't. And I don't know who's to blame for this, but this falls on the players to me.
If you're a pro, the coach can be a motivator 100%. And DJ speaks very, very well in the room. I've been in that room. I understand. But you can't give rah-rah speeches every night like people would expect. It's a responsibility to the players to be ready to go. That's your ultimate job. You only have to do it 82 times a year. And there are going to be instances in those 82 times that you're not going to be ready to play, but we've seen it far too often. So it is not on. I like what Yorkie said. The players let the coach down last night. And I was thinking about the other clip when McEwen took that penalty. I'm thinking, what are you doing? You see DJ's face on that one. He looked utterly perplexed that a player went out and did that and essentially just put the two. And they ended up with a power play on that. So you're right, and did nothing with that except for a couple phantom shots from the outside. But yeah, this was the first time I saw DJ look like he had known the beginning and the end was coming.
Things happen in DJ Smith. Things happen in the game. You can't go take penalties to get back when things happen. They give them a 4-minute penalty score. They give them a 4-minute penalty score on your power play. That's your enforcer in today's world. You can't take a 5-minute major and then you're completely out of sorts. And we took another penalty. That's certainly not the way we want to play. That's not good for Zach McEwen in his future lineup endeavors.
No. And listen, I know what Zach McEwen's trying to do. Like he's fighting for his NHL career and he's, I got to do something. I got to get out there. You know what? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to go out. Like his intentions are good. His intentions are good. This isn't a guy he's trying to do what he probably thinks so far. Well, I haven't been the physical force I was brought here to be. I got to do something. You know what? I'm going to go after Matthew Tkachuk and I'm going to get him. I'm going to make him pay. I'm going to fire up the boys. I'm going to get them going. He took it too far. He took it too far, and the timing couldn't have been worse. Like at 3-0, you're still not out of the game. Ottawa's got enough offense, but it was just a bad timing play for a guy that was trying to do something good that ended up doing something that really hurt his team. Like it is what it is. Like I've seen it before. It's unfortunate for the player. It's unfortunate for the team. But he's in a bad spot right now as far as his where he sits with the team right now. And like he's, again, anybody that was, the thing is right now, guys, Staios and Lauer, they don't have a lot of ties to a lot of the guys here. Like I really believe you're in last place right now. I know you've got games in hand. You got to shake. Something needs to be shaken up. You got to shake it up a little bit. Whether, unfortunately in this business, to me, it's kind of come to that time.
I'm not sure that it gets to it. Here's why. So we've seen the change in Minnesota with Dean Evison, who got saddled with $15 million in buyout space being eaten up. He has nothing to work with. The other issue of Edmonton, I think, again, is a GM who saddled the team with underperforming players. Yeah. In Ottawa, as you said, Steve Staios has no connection to anybody on that roster. So I don't think he moves anytime soon with a coaching change until the evaluation is done. But maybe.
And Wally, I don't know. I don't really know if that's going to help. I'm just going to say what's probably going to happen. But I hate the way this team is built right now. Like if you look at the really good teams down the middle, and I just think a lot of people overestimated myself included, where the Senators are at right now. It's really tough to win consistently in the league. If you look at Ottawa down the middle right now, Tim Stützle, fantastic player, going to be a star, just 21 years old. Josh Norris, great offensive player, great offensive instincts. He's got 147 NHL games played. Then you're rolling out Rourke Chartre and Highmore. Those are your four centers you're playing with, and you're going up against Barkov, 628 games, 28
Selke
years old.
Trophy winner.
Sam Bennett will rip your eyes out to win a hockey game. He'll do like the guy's ruthless. Like I love the guy. Those are guys you win with. And those guys have learned how to win. Ottawa
they don't have anybody to show them.
Well, they got Giroux.
Okay, but Claude Giroux can't get everybody into the fire.
And it's not on him. And they got Brady, but Brady's still learning. And,
but he's never played in the playoffs. Thomas Chabot's never played in the playoffs.
Exactly.
These guys don't know what it takes to get there.
And
so, Bobby, when you played, because you're the most recent, and so I will go to that, you had a group that of Dion Phaneuf and other guys who had all been there and fought through and knew what it took to get to the postseason, right? Like, you guys weren't just a bunch of young guys that didn't know how to play. So there must have been, I'm assuming, lessons being taught in the room or conversations of this is what needs to get done to get to the postseason.
Yeah, to a degree. I think we had enough guys that had been there that understood with a couple, whether it's one rounds or cup finals for some guys. There were guys that are around, and I think we were a little bit of an older, more mature group than this team is, and those guys aren't going to get the maturity unless they go through all this first, right? This is the bad side of it, and you would argue that they've been going through it for 4 years, but for 4 years they weren't learning how to win; they were learning how to play, and just learning how to mature. Now they're getting lessons on the fly right now, and I don't know if the lessons need to come from a different voice, but to the point where they're not showing up like that last night is the first time that I could actually say they just didn't show up. Like they didn't, they had nothing. And it's like, what are we missing? And the only thing you can point your finger at is a different voice. And I don't like that. I've been on DJ's bandwagon since the beginning.
This isn't personal.
No. Oh gosh, no, never.
That's the thing. Like, I really, really like DJ. I'm just thinking something has to change, and it's the easiest change to make.
Yeah, well, that's what happened. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with. I agree too, guys. Unfortunately, it's to me, it's kind of come to that point. It is unfortunate because I just look at this group and I'm like, after Brady and after Claude Giroux, how many guys in that forward group are going to fight you tooth and nail to win every single night? Like that, to me, that's a problem. Like, you got to have guys that are going to lay it out on the line every single night, and that's when you see a game like that last night. That's when you know something's going to happen, and there's too much time between games. You got the late November schedule, then it's going to get real heavy in December. So, yeah.
All right, we'll get to. Well, this is normally where we do the hot or cold performer. I think we know where this is probably headed today. Probably delivered by DoorDash. Make gift shopping fun again with DoorDash. Shop for everyone on your list. Just open the DoorDash app, pick from where you want, anywhere, really. You can order groceries, go to pharmacies, all kinds of stuff. DoorDash has everything you need to make the holiday special. Ordering is easy. Oh, guys, you can also order flowers on DoorDash. It's that simple. Open the app, choose what you want from where you want. With Double Dash on DoorDash, you can order from multiple restaurants or stores in the same delivery without additional delivery fees. For a limited time, our listeners get 25% off and zero delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter code NATION25. That's all uppercase letters. That's 25% off up to a $10 value and zero delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store. Enter code NATION25. Don't forget, code NATION25, 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Offer valid in Canada, subject to change. Terms apply. Our hot and cold performer will just go to the Ottawa Senator penalty kill. In the last two games, it's at 50%. Teams have gone 4 for 8. Overall, they're 25th, and at home, they're 25th. This is a huge area for a team that, remember, they were doing pretty well penalty kill-wise. It has gone south quickly, and it's affected their team.
Well, last night, you had that 4-minute power play where you kind of could have shifted momentum a little bit. And man, Florida is so good. We're so good on the kill last night. Ottawa usually gets in there. They're confident. They hold pucks. They couldn't do anything. Like Florida just had they had that high pressure system going on the penalty kill where Ottawa just had no answer for it. And it's a great point. Well, I thought their power play really let them down last night.
Yeah, I think all special teams did for sure. But I will say Florida did a phenomenal job of stacking that line and not. I mean, how good is arguably one of the better entries in the league for Ottawa when you have a guy like Timmy, and they could not figure it out. I think that Sanderson deferred too many times last night and got rid of the puck too early, as opposed to skating up and taking some ice away from F1. He just kind of passed it off, let the guys crisscross with the drop pass that was easy enough to read, and left it there. I would have liked to seen Sanderson take some ice, get to the red line before you make that drop. Now you got 4 guys real stacked. But when you don't isolate F1 as much as they did not last night, it's hard to dictate a side because then the guys just stack up. Yeah. With that being said, how many nights are you going to say that about Jake? He's going to make the right play more than 9 out of 10 nights. So he was another guy that was just off last night. But the penalty kills, they were both tragic last night.
If you look at Florida's D2, right? They're big and they're long. Like,
yeah,
people forget, like Oliver Ekman Larson, he's still a pretty good player. He's playing in their third pairing.
Mm-hmm.
Big, long, 6'3" guy, long reach. You look at Ottawa's D, like it's a different, like you look at where those two teams are at, they're just at two different stages right now. And you can see now, like Shabbat has taken a lot of shit this year, but you take one of those guys out and all of a sudden Hamannik's now playing elevated minutes. I like Hamonic as a sixth defenseman. He's playing, it is what it is. You have to play him because your only other options, you put Bernard Docker out there. You get Brandstrom, who had a really tough night last night. I thought that might have been Brandstrom's worst game of the year. Like he really struggled against big, heavy players in a playoffs type game, and it's not all on him. It was a tough night for everybody.
Travis Hamonic takes the puck at the point around the blue line area in the offensive zone or just outside it. He's going to dump it in, a soft dump into the far corner. He puts it directly on the stick of the opposing forward for Florida, and out they come. Like there was just mind-boggling mistakes made last night that made no sense.
There was, and they were all making them. They were all making them.
Yes,
it was a very bad night for the entire team. A lot of guys made uncharacteristic plays, but it couldn't happen at the worst time. You needed, even if you lose that game, but you have that fight to the very end. They didn't. There was just nothing.
Yeah, so. Here's my last thing on DJ. So this can be like almost a catch-22. Are the players trying to send a message to DJ or to Steve Staios that they're tired of whatever this system is, or are they just not showing up? Like, is this a message they're trying to send to DJ or to the management of we can't keep doing this anymore?
No, 100% no. The players don't think like that. They come to the rink and they go out and do what they're told, right?
Well, they didn't do what they were told last night, Bobby.
Well, that's because they didn't show up energy-wise. Yeah. And then once...
Okay, but my point is, how do you, if you are a professional hockey player you are paid, you're not paid to entertain fans as much as you're paid to just try and score goals, although you are paid to entertain. But you show up, that is your job. You got one job. None of you wanted to do it last night.
Yeah. So imagine if you're at work.
Wait a sec, Yorkie, hang on. So you tell me, but like, I don't get it. Your job is to show up and play, and none of you wanted to play. So you defend the players here.
I can't. I've been on them since the start of the show. They were horrific, but it has nothing to do with them wanting to prove to management. No player wants to go out and play that way to send a message that, hey, we're done listening to coach. That's just not on. I've been on good teams. I've been on really, really good teams. I've been on some bad teams. I've been on some of the biggest shit show teams that you know a lot about from behind the scenes. And we never once did that.
I know.
So that's not the case. What they didn't right the ship after the first 90 seconds because they took a penalty. And then every single player looked like they had a week off. And Florida came in full of piss and vinegar, dumped the puck, and nobody wanted to get hit last night. It was just one of those nights. But to answer your question, I'm not defending the players because I'd be in there ripping guys apart today in video and showing mistakes. And like, I wouldn't show the puck bouncing on Zub like they showed in between. Remember when they showed that in between periods? I'm like, the puck took a shit bounce. Like that happens. He didn't get the puck out. That's not a lack of effort. That's a bad bounce. Leads to bigger and bigger bounces. Now I would show him the one behind the net for sure. And at the end, but yeah, they're not sending a message. They just shit the bed. But how many times can you shit the bed before it's time for change? So Wally,
you're going to tell me you've never seen a team have a horrible night. Like this isn't going to be
hold on, Yorkie. Yes, absolutely. Have I seen teams have a horrible night? That's not my part. That's not my problem. The problem is that every year for the last 4 years, you've said how important the month of November is, or how important these wins are. This is the 13th home game they played this year. They've had a super easy schedule. So I don't even care that they didn't win. I just wanted them to show up and compete, and that was completely non-existent. So don't tell me this is important for you when you showed up and didn't show like it was very important.
Yeah. So I'll tell you why these types of things happen. If you look at hockey, just imagine you're at work, Wally. You're trying to get some work done. You're writing stuff down. There's a guy grabbing your hand. He's not letting you do it. You could try to get up. Sit down, kid. You're not going anywhere.
This is not the same thing.
It is, because basically you had a team that was just they're way better than Ottawa last night. And why did Ottawa play so bad? I'd never buy into a team's not trying. So number one, they're not trying. I just think right now they didn't play well. A lot of mental. Let me finish. A lot of mental mistakes.
I'm angry.
And this will happen in an 82 game schedule. The problem is, and I'll give you a little bit of credit here, you can't let that happen at this time of year. So I'm not defending I'm just telling you why it happens. It's going to happen from time to time, but it's happening at the worst time again.
So again,
I agree. This can't be happening right now, and this is part of pro sports. This is why changes happen, because when this type of stuff happens at the wrong time of year, you have to make changes. It's just the way it is.
Okay.
But big reason why Ottawa played last night the way they did, Florida's just they imposed their will on Ottawa. And Ottawa didn't have an answer for it.
I totally understand that part. And again, I get your point where you're saying like it happens in the season. I totally understand that. January, February games are atrocious a lot of times. I'm just saying, if you're trying to tell me you're taking the next step, this isn't it. That you're on a ladder without any rungs, because this is horrendous. That's my problem.
Like, wait, nobody's arguing with you.
No. How many coffees have you had this morning, Wally?
I've had 3. And a red Gatorade.
Guys on fire.
I'm angry about it, because that's not what you keep trying to tell us. What you showed us and what you tell us, which means all that time is just word salad, because you're never showing us it on the ice. Then you try this nonsensical stuff in the third period of we're going to mix it up. Jake Sanderson should not be squaring off with Matthew Tkachuk in any situation whatsoever. And they allowed that to happen last night.
Well, Sanderson's doing that on his own because he cares, right, Bob? Like he cares. That's why he's doing it.
I love that he did it. I don't want to see Jake Sanderson fighting. I agree with Wally 100%. But I love that. That's a big boy that he stood up to, and that goes a long way with your teammates, because the guy called him out in front of the whole bench. So there's an answer there. And kudos to him for doing it. But again, you're losing 5-0. Why? Just let that one go. And what you do is you put that in the back of your mind for later. I agree. The problem is Brady made a deal with his mom. I won't ever fight Matthew. Everything would die down. If those two just squared off, everybody would have gone home. And they
how good, like the one positive from last night, how good was Grandma Tkachuk last night on the camera?
Oh yeah, they showed her they showed her a ton, just like this.
She was the first star of the game, like just sitting there.
And then she left early. She got in the car and left early.
Her poor nerves. Her nerves must be a mess watching those two whenever she's there.
So
it's just chaos.
In the third period, I think when the scrum with Matthew happened with the Zach McEwen incident, you can see Brady turns and Matthew, they're kind of in the same, and Brady goes completely around to grab somebody else. So, right? It's that whole agreement that we're not going. So I just found that one entertaining. All right. We got to move on, and I feel like I need to cheer things up with perhaps the chance to win a $5,000 gift card.
Before you go, Wally, before you go there, I will say this, and I'll give people a little silver lining here. This will make Ottawa a better team in the future. It's not going to happen right away. I'm going to tell you something. This is the first year there's been expectations on this team in a long time.
There was expectations last year,
No,
Yorkie.
there wasn't. No, there wasn't. This is the first year people were picking Ottawa to be a playoff team. The people were saying this team is ready to make the next step. They're there. If you look at most panelists, most so-called experts, they're all saying Ottawa's a playoff team. So now these guys are playing with real pressure, because there's pressure to be good and pressure to make the playoffs. And that's how you get better. It's so many guys play their whole career in places where there's no pressure and they never learn how to win. This will help the guys that are going to be the core, like a Timmy Stützle, like a Brady, like a Sanderson. Going through this now is going to help these guys in the long run. Trust me on that. If people want to look at something that's going to be positive, this will help them in the future when things turn around.
I don't disagree with that.
Well, let's see now. For 8 years, Thomas Chabot's been on the roster.
Yeah.
We keep talking about playoffs. He's never played a playoff game. These guys need somebody, and I believe they need somebody behind the bench, like an Alfie type, that can tell them and show them and talk to them about what it takes. I just wish there's no guidance. It's not from DJ Smith. And I mean that he's not the former player that's going to say, this is what it takes to win in that grind. Yeah. So find me somebody that's going to teach this team, because that's not happening. And you can see it. They're not ready.
Well, the next guy that comes in here, Bob, is going to be a teacher type of coach. That's what I think they'll end up getting, whoever that's going to be.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree that it'll be somebody that's very defensive minded too. Very defensive minded teaching coach.
Yeah,
that's what you're going to see next.
We'll give us the old thanks tips on that one, eh? For saying that.
Yeah.
Sorry, did you just say Jacques Martin? Okay. So, by the way, I think he was on the radio and said, you can teach defense. It's easy.
Who said that?
Did he?
Jacques Martin. I'm probably paraphrasing, but he said basically, yes, you can teach defense. It's not hard.
I know when you went back to Arizona and they got a lot better under Rick Tocchet, it just eventually got stale for them. He said to me one time, he said, the first 3 years I didn't teach offense. All he did, or was it first year and a half? Sorry, I don't know if he was there 3 years, but I remember he was talking to me out in Idaho, and he said the first year and a half, I think is exactly what he said, I didn't do a single offensive drill. I just did defensive zone every day. Wow. That's it. He said it's all I did, and it started to work. Eventually, it gets stale when you're only going one way, but that's how long it takes to instill habits, and they clearly haven't started it. They clearly haven't done.
See, and that's my problem. Yeah. I'm okay with losing. I'm not okay with zero effort. That's
you know what, Bob? You brought up a great point there. Like when I watch Ottawa play, they will fight you to the death in the offensive zone to get their chances, to hunt down loose pucks, to win battles. But they don't have the same kind of drive in the defensive zone. It's just, to me, it's not as simple as that. But that's a big reason, at least from what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Marco's saying Jacques did say that. He said defense is just hard work, not skill.
It's very true.
Well, you didn't.
Very true.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Hey,
I'm kidding.
All right, got to the point where I was a -20. I was just like, I gotta live with it. And the only way you're gonna get it back is going north.
Hey, listen, best defense is a good offense,
right?
Get the puck out.
You win more by scoring more, not giving up less.
All right, this segment brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly owned and operated since 1972 with more than 85 locations across the country through Charm and their sister brands. Get custom ring building delivered in less than 4 weeks with the Charm Masterpiece program and an unbeatable pricing policy. The Sens won't be sizing up rings anytime soon. Holidays are coming up. It's the perfect time to check out large selection of Canadian lab-grown diamonds, mined diamonds, and don't pay until 2025 for their instant in-store financing on approved credit. Charm Diamond Centers is giving you a chance to win a $5,000 gift card. Become a champion with the Propose. How would you propose? One knee, the bend and snap? Feel free to drop in on their Instagram account and tag at Charm Diamonds in a post or story with a video or photo of your propose. Be sure to hashtag the propose to be entered. For more information, go to charmdiamondcenters.com. Bob?
Oh no. Thank you for our good friends at BEI. You really, really thanks for the heads up, boys.
Hey, that's not on me.
But apparently they're building a city. Well, this is how I start this one every time. But the difference that a Bonashare home makes, find them obviously at bonasharehomes.com. Variety of floor plans for every need, many options to choose from, and prices starting as low as the 500s. BEI is helping to shape Ottawa Valley, and thank you for being our sponsors. And there's not a lot to go with on this board, guys. I got to be honest.
I will.
You want me to describe the picture on the left?
No, I will.
Freelance it, Bob.
Listen,
it's a great hallway.
They are renting some homes if you're looking to rent, by the way. And as always, even if you're going through community development, Bob, please.
Slow down, guys. Slow down in construction zone. Well done. Thanks for the heads up.
Yeah. Yorkie?
Well, I'm prepared here, Bob.
You got the printout?
I printed it out. I prepared for this show. I slept on a 24-hour rule. So
Can you
Sober
just get to
Carpenter. Sober Carpenter. Big thanks to our new sponsors. Coming in hot is Quenched by Sober Carpenter. Real craft beer, no alcohol. Hold the alcohol, keep the flavor. Only 55 to 60 calories per can. Enjoy a range of non-alcoholic beers so good that you'll won't have to compromise on taste if you also want a healthier lifestyle. Enjoy a wide selection of beers, including Blonde Ale, West Coast IPA, and Irish Red. Look for it at Sobeys, Loblaws, Whole Foods, Metro, Farm Boy, and other retailers, or you can order online at sobercarpenter.com. 10% off when you sign up for the newsletter. Order 2 cases, and you can get some free delivery. Sober Carpenter, award-winning beers so good that you'll forget it's non-alcoholic, fellas.
Nice job.
Nailed it.
Yeah, I printed it off, boys. I
can see I'm getting an invoice for 1 sheet of paper, $12. So, by the way, Jonas Corposalo, which we haven't mentioned, I guess, Bob, you did, was the only reason that this game was 5-0. I thought he played a really good game under really duress circumstances because he didn't have any help, Yorkie.
Yeah, but you can't give up that wraparound coming out of the net like that. Like that was which goal was that in the game again? I'm looking at that.
That was a second. That was Reinhardt's second.
You can't.
Well, I do agree with you. It should have been 5-0 at that point already.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I mean,
I'm just saying nobody was perfect last night.
I was sitting on the couch and I watched Montour, and I think it was Giroux that fell asleep on a sky back door, who happened to be Verhaeghe, and he walked down, and I was like, imagine walking down, being a defenseman, that excited to see the seas part for a perfect backdoor tap-in pass, and then your guy blows it. I'd been livid if I was Montour. But what a save by Corposalo.
Nice save.
He kept them in that. And then ultimately gives up that. That's a tough one. You can't go out and you lose the puck to a guy that's going to beat you back to the net. I agree with that. But he made 4 or 5 saves in that game that gave his team a chance to be in it. Plus, he's probably you're in the penalty kill the whole night. Yeah. That's exhausting for a goalie trying to track pucks all night like that. I just thought he was good. I thought he gave him a chance to win. They completely bailed him out, or they bailed on him. Excuse me.
Yeah,
man, I was wrong on Florida. I just thought they were gonna, and who knows? We still have 82 games to go. But watching them play last night, that was a clinic. Like you look at that team, they were so prepared to play from the drop of the puck, like just faster, stronger, harder.
Yeah,
but that's the grind of what happened last year, and them knowing the importance of every game.
I keep looking at their depth chart, guys, and I love the way they're built, especially on the back end. They got a good goalie in Bobrovsky, but you look at their D, like their depth guys, is like a guy like Kulikov. Guy's played a long time in the NHL. He knows how to play the game. He's a great depth defenseman. And you look at that. Nobody ever talks about this Forsling, guys.
He's unbelievable.
He is. I put him on my probably top 10 most underrated guys in the NHL. The way he carries the puck, makes plays, just so calm out there. Like that is a legit top 4 defenseman that nobody talks about.
Yeah, I agree. He's very smooth. He kind of got some notoriety and attention because of the run last year. It was nice to see because he was a waiver wire guy, remember?
Yeah.
And just kind of came into his own very, very slowly. But yeah, I would agree that if I'm making a list of top 5 to 10, he's on my list.
Yeah, I'd go there too for sure.
Yeah, unbelievable.
By the way, Patrick Kane signed in Detroit. I know you guys probably are aware this morning. They play they play Ottawa second week, I think, somewhere around December 9th, if I'm not mistaken. How much does that affect the balance in the Atlantic Division, or does it at all?
I think he makes them better, but I don't know. Where are they sitting now? I had it pulled up a couple minutes ago because I was trying to think what he meant to them. I just think he gives them a a better power play. I think he'll help there, and I think they got a little more depth out of it. So
they're third in the Atlantic.
That's what. Okay, so they're 11-6-3. I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Thank you to Gavin, but does it make them a playoff team? I don't know, but I still think they're. I had them really low. You were a little higher on them, weren't you, Wally?
I had them. I think I had them in the playoffs. So the point is, do they get a boost?
Yeah.
Like, right, the players all say, well, fuck, we just added Patrick Kane to our roster here.
Yeah. No, he certainly does that for him. Yes.
Kaner's 35 now. I'm just looking. I didn't realize he was 35 years old. I think he helps him in the regular season a ton because you get so many power plays.
Yeah.
He's so good at creating time and space. He had 6 points last year in the playoffs. Is he the hardest guy to play against? No, that's not his game. But yeah, for sure he helps them. I'm still not sold on Detroit being a playoff team, but they're definitely overachieved. I didn't see them coming out this well.
Is this the year? We'll have to talk about this all at the 20 game mark for everybody. But is this the year that Tampa does not make the playoffs, or is now that Vasilevsky back there in the mix again?
Yeah,
because it's a good question because their goal differential's not very good, but Kucherov is scoring at will.
Yeah,
they're holding on to a wild card spot. I mean, this will obviously go back and forth with Detroit probably for that third spot, but I don't mind their team.
No, I liked her. I mean, they got a lot of guys that proven they can get there. I like them. I still ultimately have them in. I was looking at that the other day too because everybody's got game in hand on them.
So yes, they played 22. Ottawa's now played 17, and the whole issue of us doing, I wanted to do at the 20 game mark, but for us, Ottawa plays their 20th game December 6th, I think. Everybody else is way past it already, but we will rejig our playoff predictions maybe in December. And
I'd be very happy with my Edmonton pick being a little different. So if you guys would like to rework that, yes, I'm in.
Time for Did You Know? Wendy's is letting you win real food with your fantasy teams this year at Wendy's Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool. For those who dream of smoking the competition, Wendy's is rewarding you with weekly prizes that have you winning despite your lack of winning combinations. But here's the secret to lineups. It's all surreptitious. I did not write that. Like Wendy's new limited edition chicken strips and French toast sticks. Sometimes the best teammates are the ones you'd least suspect. Sign up Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool to win weekly prizes like the new chicken strips and French toast sticks from Wendy's and the Wendy's app. dailyfaceoff.com to start with the Survivor Pool. So far, I'm still in it for week 2. I almost picked yesterday Tim Stützle to pick up an assist, but changed that, thankfully. All right. So did you know, gentlemen, that the Sens will finish the month of November playing a league-low 9 games this month? Only one team in the last 74 years has played 9 games or less in November. It was the 1995-96 Dallas Stars who played 9 games.
That's unbelievable.
It's a crazy schedule.
Yeah. Everybody else has to catch up on road games or home game. Like, I don't know how many games at home, I wonder, do they play in that month?
Of Ottawa?
Yeah.
Well, technically, because of the other two, did they play all but one home game? Yeah.
That is crazy.
8 home games in November.
Anyway, boys got the tough road ahead here.
Yeah. Like,
don't they have a monster one in December? Yeah. So you got St. Louis, Dallas, Vegas, Arizona, Colorado. That's a tough trip. That'll be a big deciding factor on where I think they go from the rest of the season.
Like, how many wins do you get on that trip? Back to back, St. Louis, Dallas. St. Louis is playing very well of late.
Yeah, you got to pray for 500 on that trip, don't you?
I don't know where you're getting the 500.
No, neither. If I'm being completely honest.
But we'll see, because maybe things will have changed in a couple of weeks. Bob,
you never know. You never know.
Never a dull moment. Never a dull moment.
I thought we were going to open up the chat today, Wally.
Well, there's a lot of
anger.
A lot of Wally supporters today. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Had coffee this morning.
Wally supporters, you're making it sound like Bob and I have a different opinion.
No,
I thought we were all on the same page today for the first time.
I just think that you guys aren't upset enough.
Well, because I'm not. This is
Yeah.
what happens in pro sports. Like you.
No, Yorkie, you're missing the point.
Here we go again.
Okay. What's your point?
That this is where they were supposed to make hay. They
Exactly.
were supposed to figure this out. And in
Yeah.
November, they're sitting last in the conference when they had an easy schedule, 13 home games.
Yep.
The stupid Sweden thing. I like if there's ever another schedule
Stop
person
it.
for Ottawa.
Don't blame the Sweden thing. The Sweden Detroit came back and they won.
I'm not. My point is they've taken all this time to play two games. It's
Yeah.
nonsensical to me. This was a team that needed to get off to a better start. They didn't. We can argue that, oh, look, they're only one game below 500, but that's because of the schedule. They are not a very good team right now. And that's what I'm upset about. Nothing has changed. This is the same team that we saw last year.
Are we, Bob? Are we disagreeing here?
Nope.
Nope. You just said it's just a game.
I said I'm not surprised because this happens when expectations are set. You don't reach them. We've said all along the start of the season was of the magnitude was this was going to happen. If they didn't get off to a good start, 20 game mark, hey, I'm on the same page. This team is underachieved so far. You can't paint it. You can't paint it any other way. And last night for me was a tipping point. You can't lay an egg at this time of year. You just can't.
So that's my frustration.
Yeah, but
if this was one game and they won 3-4 in a row or something, yeah, okay. But this isn't. So that's I listen, all you want to see, because when they start the season, I know it's just nonsensical words. A lot of times the players just say, but we really got sucked into this group going, we're making the step this year. We've added players. We got a full, healthy Jacob Chikrin. We've got Jonas Korpisalo, added a 40-goal scorer in Vladimir Tarasenko, and nothing has changed defensively.
Yeah. Put me on the list. I got sucked in.
And that's why people are upset.
I was a little less optimistic, but don't forget, I still had them in the top 3 in the Atlantic based on rosters and where they were. So I thought they were going to do it too. I'm just not tying my day to the ups and downs of theirs. Because
spoken like a true player.
I mean, it's 21 degrees here. I can't go golfing. I'm more upset about that. I knew there was going to be some growing pains. I didn't think it would be this bad, and I thought that they'd be in a very, very much better position after the homestand. So they need, and this has not been a good road team. So maybe things will help when they don't have last change and coaches aren't overthinking and players don't know their matchups and they just play.
Nothing comes easy in this league, Wally. And we're seeing it now with Ottawa. Like nothing comes easy. And I go back to Florida's roster. I look at what a lot of those players have been through throughout their careers to get to the point where they are right now. Ottawa's just not there. They're not.
I don't argue with you whatsoever.
Yeah, they're just
they just need to be insulated with players who have been.
Yeah.
Well, remember last time that they insulated players that with some older guys, the Derek Steppons, and how much they got lampooned for that decision. Yeah. Not just Step. I'm talking about bringing in
Braden Coburn, Eric Goodbranson.
Yeah. Intentions were good.
Cedric Paquette.
Yeah. Like you got to bring in the right guys.
Cedric Paquette was here for like 12 games or something. Then he was gone.
That was fat. That was a quick one.
Derek Stepan wanted to retire. Then they sent him to Eric.
Yeah. He was like anywhere but here.
Yeah.
Was he? Bob, I'm trying to remember what was the year Stepan was here?
Oh, I can't even. It was probably the year after I was. Was he here in the All Canada year or the year after that?
He was so slow, but then he went to Carolina and actually looked half decent.
Yeah, because he got out of this system.
You want to be somewhere, right? That's got a lot to do with it, I think.
Yeah.
Derek Stepan, 2021. 20 games.
And he had that bad shoulder. He got shipped out and then got hurt, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, if I remember correctly.
And then, I think his season, I just lost it. But yeah, but again, then he went on and he was fine. Like It's very frustrating to watch.
Did you guys know, what do you think's going through Tarasenko's mind right now? 1-year deal. He's got 3 goals. He's got 3 goals.
Yeah.
It's on a 1-year deal.
0 in the last 10.
Like, unless he makes some nice little plays. He goes through sticks. He makes little good passes out there offensively. He's really smart. But just again, it's I go back to it where Ottawa is that guy going to fight you to the death to win a hockey game?
Not in this point in the career. I don't know if he ever would have, truthfully, but no, not now.
Like when you look at what you really need to win in today's NHL games, you need your roster filled with guys where winning and losing is everything. And I just look at the way, and then you look at Ottawa's guys, they have plugging holes on their third and fourth line right now. You got guys that just aren't really NHL players. Like when you really drum it down. So there is a severe lack of depth on this team too. And then when you got older guys where we're working. Like I don't know what's up with Kubalik, but did he play last night?
Well, you could say that about a few guys, huh?
Yeah. I don't know if last night's the one we want to use, but just
it's like if you just gotta show up.
15-46, 0 shots, -2. He had 2 hits.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
by the way, hold on one sec. I want to get to Tim Stützle before I forget. I meant to bring it up yesterday's show and forgot. So hold on. This show is always proudly presented by Botano, our huge presenting sponsor for the 2023 season. The 2023 EGR Award winner for both the Best Sportsbook Operator of the Year and Best In-Play Sports Operator. Visit Botano.ca or download their award-winning app, the fastest, most user-friendly and advanced betting app for your mobile or tablet. Hundreds of betting options for all things hockey and nearly every other sport on the planet. Live in-game betting and the most competitive odds in the market. Botano. The game starts now. And by our good friends at Michelangelo's. So what do you got? A couple days left. Michelangelo's Roofing and Insulation. They want to continue to raise awareness for men's mental health. So in the month of November, any insulation jobs booked, they will be donating proceeds to the Movember movement. The jobs can be completed anytime before October 31st, 2024. You just have to book them in the next few days. Included in the booking is an assessment of your home's ventilation system to ensure with the new insulation, your home is warm and cozy this winter season, as well as keeping heating costs down and making your home more energy efficient. Give them a call, 613-833-0001, or contact them at michelangelos.com. Tell them Bobby sent you. Michelangelo's Roofing and Insulation. Every detail covered. All right. Tim Stützle, who, by the way, looked horrendous after taking the high stick to the face, has taken 1 face-off in 3 games. And in fact, I remember just an offensive draw. I think Giroux got kicked out, and Stützle went to the other side and didn't even go to look to take the face-off. I think he's playing with a hurt left wrist or left hand or something. Do you guys not find it odd that he's not taking face-offs?
Yes. Excuse me. Yes and no. I think there are times when he looks over to Giroux to take it because Drew's so reliable in the circle, and Timmy's still developing that. And it's like, hey, we have a chance in the offensive zone for puck possession, whatever it might be. So I don't read as much into it, but I do agree. And after watching him last night, I would agree he's playing with something that's hampering him. Yes, I would agree with that. Whether it's a wrist, shoulder, arm, I don't know.
In the Islander game, he came up from one of the hits and was kind of, and maybe I'm reading into it because that's all I can do at the moment. It's shaking like his left hand. So whether it's a stinger, arm, something, but just something is off. And I know people are like, he plays 22 minutes a night and he's leading the team in scoring. I understand all that. I'm just saying there's something that seems to be a nagging issue, not necessarily a major injury.
Yeah, I could maybe something. Yeah, I could see that, Wally. But I do agree with Bob. Like, if I'm taking a draw, why wouldn't you want Giroux taking it? The guy's one of the best face-off guys in the league.
Yeah. I could be the full-time center, and if I'm out there with Giroux, I'm gonna
and that's fine. I understand that completely. I'm just saying, leading up to that, Tim Stützle was taking face-offs, and he's around 50%. I think he's a little below 50%. It's like that's my only point. It just seems odd for one draw in 3 games.
It's a major drop off. So yeah, I agree that there's probably something that's bothering him day to day, and he's had some days off mixed in. So I'm sure that there's just some, there's some stuff in there that says, I don't like the word injured because he wouldn't be out there if he was injured. There's a difference between hurt and injured,
No.
and he's
Right.
Yeah, he's hurt. There's something hurting him.
He played, guys, but Wally, to your point, he was over 22 minutes.
Nearly 23.
Like they're riding him so hard. Again, you look at teams that play hard for a full 60. There's not one forward on Florida that played over 20 minutes.
Well, they
Not
didn't
one.
have to because they were all just handling the Sens at will.
Yeah, but that's
A
over
road
82
game,
games. That's how you win.
You just play
It's
your team, right? You just roll your lines.
Yeah.
one after another. They keep coming.
But at the end, though, they had to just play who was ever on the bench because
yeah,
there was 11 guys left for each team.
Oh God,
That's crazy. Well, you know what? I have seen that in the jungle once or twice, but not. Yeah, I haven't seen a full yard sale 10-minute misconduct shift before. That's pretty good.
That was the first. I don't think I've ever seen that either. Now, and Yorkie, I know you weren't with Ottawa at the time, but back in 07, when the dust up with the Flyers happened for the league record for most penalty minutes.
Then Spezza even fought right off the draw. Did he fight? Was it Mark Recchi?
He fought Patrick Sharp and Mark Recchi, I think. Jason Spezza holds the record for most penalty minutes in one game because of that.
That's
game.
right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That would not have been my guess.
I think in that game, there might have been 3 or 4 players left. One of them, Martin Havlat, who didn't get back on the ice because he would have been killed, that's the last time I remember seeing anything kind of like this. But I've never seen all 10 guys get misconducts basically in one shift. Never.
I loved what Brady was trying to do. He was like just trying to grab anybody, pull them in, like just trying to get a pound of flesh.
But it's over then. Why can't you do that? Show me that passion in the first period.
I'll say this about Brady. I actually thought he was pretty good last night. Like
7 shots.
I thought he was pretty good.
But there's rare that we ever say that that Brady wasn't pretty good, right? Like I don't think I'll ever question Brady's compete level any night.
Not a chance.
But he wasn't able to pull that group with him last night.
Nope, he was not.
I agree. Nothing more to say on it. I thought he was good. It's got to be exhausting trying to be the guy that drags him in every night too. I mean, somebody's got to step up and do it for him from time to time. But again, 7 shots on goal. He's in the mix after every play. He's in front of the net. He does everything correctly all the time, except for the stuff at the end. Like I'd like to see him knock that part out of his game a little bit more. I love the passion. I love the way he's in. I was sitting. I dated a Southern girl that was like, "What is happening right now?" when we're watching the end of that game, and I'm like, "That's just Brady being Brady."
Yes.
I actually used. I was like, 0 fucks are being given right now from Brady.
I love it.
And then every time that you think it would be done, you would just see Brady's hand come up and start giving little jabs one more time, and I'm sitting there laughing at it, but. So no question that he's the leader in that regard, but I'd like to see somebody take some of that off his hands from time to time.
Well, that's just it. They don't have that person. Like Zach McEwen will fight and will willingly go, but he's just not that guy. I think they really miss Mark Kastelik, obviously. We should point out that it looks like Thomas Chabot should return for the next game. They need to have a Ridley Gregg, a Mark Kastelik in their lineup to
Shane
really
Pinto.
Well, but my point is just the physical side of there's no fear playing the Ottawa Senators. You look over at warm-up, you're not going, oh, geez, we're in for a tough one tonight.
Well, look at, again, I just go back. You look at good teams down the middle. You look at the drop-off after Stützle and Norris right now, where you go. Like, that's why Timmy's playing so much. Like, you look at that, you go Stützle, Norris, and all of a sudden, again, no disrespect, Rourke Chartre is doing everything he can. And Highmore's just like, he's 27. He's been up and down guy. But then you look at Florida. You know who their third line center is? Anton Lundell. He's one of the best young players in the game right now. And that's your third line centerman, responsible defensively.
All right. Then quickly, before we go, what is the answer? What is the answer to Ottawa getting back on track here? And it could, and I know they're going to get Thomas Chabot. That may play a part. And hopefully, I don't know how long it's going to take for Kastelik and Greg, who are dealing with high ankle sprains. That's a ways, obviously. We're 2 months from Shane Pinto. So what's it going to take? What do we do? Is this a coaching change or is this a player? Do we make a move? Is there a trade? If you're the GM right now, Yorkie, what do you do?
Let Bob go first here. I've talked enough. I'll go second.
More cowbell. That's it. I don't know what the answer is, man. I have no clue. I'd like to see them get healthy. I agree with your assessment on Greg and Kastelik, and Shabby coming back will help a little bit. So I'd like to see them get healthy. I'd like to see, and I hate saying this, but I do think it's time for a different voice.
Yeah,
because it's not working defensively. It's great offensively most nights, but it's just not working on the south side of the red line.
Yeah. I'm not going to argue with that sentiment, and I look at what DJ's done with the group, and it's not a personality contest. The guy's a good man. He's a good person, but you look this team right now. But the other thing, I don't know if a different voice helps this group right now and gives them that jump. But you're to the point where you probably have to make that move. And I just think you kind of, Wally, again, they don't have enough guys right now. We just talked about it, that are dragging each other into the fight. Mm-hmm. It's pretty crazy that when you look at when Ridley Gregg got hurt, like, there's just not enough guys. There's just not enough guys like that in your forward group. There isn't.
I need more from Parker Kelly. Right?
Yeah,
but those energy guys. And don't get me wrong, I'm not pinning this on the fourth line of the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah.
But somebody's got to create a spark.
Yeah.
They're not getting it from the fourth line.
I know. But you're not going to get it from Dominic Kubalik and Vladimir Tarasenko on the third line either.
But generally, Bob, with NHL third lines, they're usually heavy, hard to play against, finish all their hits, responsible defensively. This is Ottawa's current third line right now. Vladimir Tarasenko, Kubalik, and Rourke Chartre. Sorry, but that's not a third line that's conducive to winning hockey games consistently in the national. It's not.
It's true. It's very true. But it's what you got right now. So
what you got. It's what you got.
I would be moving their bottom six around daily, trying to find some kind of spark.
Yeah. Who's in Belleville right now?
I'd be calling guys up that I don't know their names either, but I would be calling them up saying, can you hit everything that moves and switch the ice for us?
Tilt
just a little bit.
Yeah.
I'd be making a lot of transactions trying to figure things out, but then you got cap space and I don't have to deal with that kind of stuff. So I'm just saying what would be a simple solution.
Angus Crookshank, Zach Ostapchuk, maybe.
Isn't Crookshank having a pretty good year down there? I saw.
I was just trying to get to the stats. Yeah. I don't know how. I guess they do it. I know there's obviously cap issues, so I haven't looked lately to see what the cap issue might be with that. But I just want to see somebody start running people.
Not a bad way to look at it. Yes, I would agree.
Like just give me somebody that's just going to punch someone in the face. I just want somebody to get angry.
That's what Zach McEwen did at the end of the game.
No, he didn't, Yorkie. He ran at a guy stupidly.
Exactly.
I want someone behind the net in a post-game little scrum that's going smartly.
To smartly punch someone in the head.
So Angus Crookshank is currently tied for the team lead in points. He leads the team in goals, 6 goals, 13 points in 16 games. That's him and Zach Ostapchuk. I want to see come up or one or the other and figure out a way to crush somebody. Now, is that the answer? No, but I want to spark.
Yeah, it's probably not the answer, but it'd be fun to watch. When do they boys play again?
Friday.
Right?
Wait, yeah, Friday.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
They've got
get them up here. Put the foil on. Let's go.
Yes. Just give me something to show you care. Why should I care if I don't feel like you guys care? And Bob, I know you're a player and you will defend this, but I don't feel like they care.
Well,
I feel like they did not care last night. I don't think that's day to day.
So,
but
I digress because we're at 65 minutes and that's not my contract.
Bob's he's out of time here. He's out of time. I will say this, players, it sometimes doesn't look like it, but I can honestly attest I've never gone into a game and not cared.
No, I haven't either.
And I've never played with a guy. I've never played with a guy that's gone to a game. Actually, sometimes
played
I
in-
used to watch. I'm watching
I played in
Koval
Sunrise on Halloween, Yorkie, and I found a way.
You found a way.
It was the lowest. I think it was the lowest game in history at the time.
Yeah.
Florida. Wally, you would have been with us. Sorry to interrupt you too, Yorkie, but you would have been with us when we went into that game.
Mhm.
And I can't remember what the attendance was, but it was horrendous.
7-something, I think.
And I feel like they were stretching that. I remember thinking
Yes.
this is an absolute debacle. Get this team out of here. But it was a Monday night Halloween game, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you didn't care, Yorkie. I'm just saying there was no passion in the game. Obviously, you never want to be embarrassed as a player. You want to do what you think is the best. But then there's I want to see the passion in you actually trying to hit somebody to make them uncomfortable. I won't say to hurt them. To make them there's nothing in that game that was uncomfortable for Florida. It was like a practice.
Well, no, everybody on the ice wanted to kill Matthew Tkachuk again, so the script worked perfectly.
That's probably like practice too. Okay.
Is that practice? Do you say that's practice too?
Yeah.
That's so good. Yeah.
There were guys that wanted to, I think when you guys played with Chris Neal, that wanted no part of Chris Neal in practice because he was always trying to be difficult to play against. Chris Neal practiced like he played.
Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he did. Yeah.
Not everybody's a fan of that.
I want
No.
I want an update on Grandma Tkachuk, boys. I want to know how she's feeling today. Like that was a tough night.
We'll see if we can get an answer from Grandma Tkachuk. Until then, you guys just settle down. I know this has been a tough show for you. Enjoy your coffee and we'll chat on Thursday.
Sounds good.
See you
See you Thursday, fellas.
All right. See you guys.
Coming in Hot is brought to you by Botano.ca. Please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel to never miss an episode.